Have you been waiting for much of 2023 and coming into 2024 disappointed that Canon wasn't going to release a big firmware update for the Canon EOS R5? Well, it's finally here. Canon just released Firmware 2.0 for the Canon EOS R5. So, is it the big firmware update we had hoped for, giving us pre-buffer shooting and finally removing that 30-minute record limit? I woke up this morning expecting a completely different story, and not on the R5 Mark I, but the R5 Mark II. And I even had a video ready to go this morning about a really interesting patent application from Canon. But all that's been kind of delayed until tomorrow because we have finally Firmware 2.0 for the Canon EOS R5, the Mark I, on the heels of the announcement of the R5 Mark II. So it's pretty exciting, right? So what's involved in this firmware update? Well, we have about 7 different items, and I'm going to go through them one by one. There are some interesting ones. There are certainly some enhancements and some minor bug fixes as well. There's also an update for the Canon EOS R3, which we'll talk about just after we discuss the firmware update for the Canon EOS R5. Whew, take a deep breath here. Are you ready for this? The Canon EOS R5 firmware update. Now, a bit of a warning here, and this is very important. I highly recommend holding off applying this firmware update until a week or two have passed, especially if this camera, the R5, is your daily driver. However, if it's not, and you don't mind risking bricking your camera, and I know what you're thinking, Simon, come on, this never happens. Canon never releases a firmware update that bricks the camera. Well, actually, that's not true. You see, with firmware 1.3, released for the R6 back a couple of years ago, it actually did if you were using certain functions and services within the camera. So they quickly released firmware 1.3.1, removed 1.3, and everything was fine. So I highly recommend waiting about a week or so, seeing if there's any bad news. Now, I've already gone ahead and applied the firmware update because I wanted to test a couple of things. All right, are you ready? Let's take a look at all the different updates, the enhancements, and the fixes. The first enhancement, it enables servo zooming to be remotely controlled by the Canon EOS utility or Camera Connect. When the power zoom adapter, PZ-E2 and PZ-E2B, is attached to the compatible lens. And at this point, that is only one lens, and that's the RF 24-105 f2.8 L series ISUSM. Firmware 2.0 now enables up to 2 terabytes of storage to be used on CF Express cards larger than 2 terabytes. Now, this is one of the things I wanted to test this morning because if you'll see right here, this is a 4 terabyte CF Express Type B card, an Angelbird card. It's a very, very fast card. So what I did after applying the firmware update for the Canon EOS R5, I went ahead and put this in. And as you can see by the B-roll, it recognized the card. It allowed me to format it. And then once I formatted, I went back in to try and format again. And this time it let me know that it could access up to 1.99 terabytes of 4 terabytes. So if you want to go out there and spend $1,700, $1,800 on a 4 terabyte CF Express card, you can at least get to use half of it now. Now what this tells me is Canon finally recognizes that there are larger capacity cards out there. So what will likely happen in the EOS R5 Mark II, and I'm calling a feature update to that camera, is it will have a different type of partitioning, a GPT, so that way it can recognize and utilize the full capacity of 4 terabytes or even larger CF Express Type B cards. At this point, this is the largest card out there of 4 terabytes, so there's another enhancement. So what about pre-buffer shooting and removing that 30-minute record limit? Well, let's go back to the enhancements. Firmware 2.0 also fixes an issue that may cause the camera, in rare instances, to experience a delay restart after the camera has gone through auto power off. It also fixes an issue that under certain specific circumstances may prevent an image from being displayed in the viewfinder or on the screen, causing the camera to stop operating or giving us that nasty error code 70. And of course, it fixes various minor issues. So that's your big firmware update. Now, when I saw 2.0 instead of 1.10.0, I was expecting something to be a little bit bigger. And I'm really happy that I finally got to be able to use my 4 terabyte card in camera, although at a 50% discount in space that I can use. And it's nice that it supports the power zoom adapters for the 24-105 f2.8 and other lenses that come out with the Z designator or moniker on it. it's strange because, and I know some people think, well, no, Simon, what automatically comes after, once you hit 9, you automatically go to the next number, which is 1.9 becomes 2. Well, that's not how software works. Whenever you go to, see, the first number represents a major revision. Then you get a minor dot revision, and then you get a really small revision after that. So when you go to 1.9, 1.91, or 1.9.1, you can go to 1.10, 1.11, 1.100, 1.1000. You can keep going. And then you only advance the big number when you've got some really major updates. And from what I'm seeing here, this is a nice firmware update, and I appreciate the update. But for most of you, there's no rush to go ahead and apply this update. It is kind of what we expected on the heels of the announcement of the Canon EOS R5 Mark II. No big fanfare here. A nice solid update. It fixes some bugs, and for some of you, you're not going to get that error code 70 anymore. And that's nice. All right, so that's it for the Canon EOS R5 Mark II. Now let's take a look at the Canon EOS R3, which gets a lot of the same updates. So like the R5, it now gets support for the power zoom adapters PZ-E2 and PZ-E2B. It also supports CF Express cards larger than 2 terabytes, but only giving you up to 1.99 terabytes. And it fixes an issue where the camera, in rare instances, just stops functioning when using GPS. It also fixes an issue that may display error code 70 when performing anti-flicker shooting at a shutter speed of 1 second or higher. It enhances security for FTPS connections. It fixes an issue in which mobile file transfer may not function when connecting the camera to an iPhone compatible with USB 3.0 or higher. And the last major fix, it fixes an issue under certain circumstances like the R5 that may prevent the image from being displayed in the viewfinder or on the LCD, causing the camera to stop operating or giving you that nasty error code 70. And of course, fixes various minor issues. So there you go, 2 updates for the Canon EOS R5 and the other for the Canon EOS R3. The 2.0 for the Canon EOS R5 Mark I at first seems like, oh, we got the big firmware update. We got the 2.0, only to find out that really it was a 1.10 and not a 2.0. Again, it's nice to be able to finally access my 4 terabyte card, and this is something that if you're looking at buying CF Express cards for your camera, on the Canon EOS R5 Mark I, don't purchase anything north of 2 terabytes. You're not going to be able to, well, you can use the card, but this guy here costs, well, let me check the price, because the last time I checked it was around $17.99, but that was a year ago. We don't get a lot of call for these things. So I'll go to Angelbird's website here, angelbird.com. And so let's take a look at the CF Express cards. They've got a lot of different products here. Allow all products CF Express Type B. And let's see here. So the 4 terabyte, let's get more info on that one. This is the MK2. So a 4 terabyte will now cost, so $1799.99, and the 2 terabyte, $959. So if you are looking at buying CF Express Type B cards, you want to get the maximum bang for your buck when it comes to the Canon EOS R5, get the 2 terabytes. While you can use the 4 terabytes, you're basically wasting about $959 because you can only use half of it. What I suspect is when the R5 Mark II comes out, when the EOS R1 comes out, it will have support for GPT, which will give it support for capacities, well, not only at 4 terabytes, but considerably higher than that. Much higher than we'll probably be able to use, at least for the next few years. That's a huge amount of storage. 4 terabytes, 2 terabytes alone is an awful lot. So if you found this interesting and you want to stay up to date on all the latest and greatest when it comes to your favorite camera brands, then go ahead and subscribe and choose all notifications. You also might want to follow me on X, because all those news stories that aren't quite big enough to have their own separate update, like a firmware update normally, I'll put those out on X, so that way that's a good reason to follow me there. Plus, I'm only allowed to do about 3 videos a day. After that, they don't send out notifications, so that's another reason to put things out on Twitter as well, because whenever I tweet something out, people are notified. Yeah, it's a little bit different with YouTube. And if you're interested in purchasing any camera gear or accessories, such as a 4 terabyte CF Express Type B card or a 2 terabyte, cameras and lenses, there's lots on sale right now, huge amount of sales, especially as we come up to Easter, then please consider, or if you're planning on purchasing from Adorama, B&H, and Amazon.com, then please use my affiliate links down below, these guys right here, because I get anywhere from 2 to 12% back, which really does help support this channel. But also, I recommend reaching out to your local camera store too. They also appreciate your business. But as always, whenever reaching out to local stores, check them out, find out how, look at their reputation online, because not every small local store is, well, loyal to you like you would be loyal to them. So you want to suss that out as well, especially in large cities. You've got a lot of choice. For me, my small camera store of choice is Patrick, or Downtown Camera. Patrick is the sales guy that works at Downtown Camera. He's in Toronto, and they ship all across Canada. In the United States, well, I don't deal with any local camera stores. Well, actually, I do at B&H, but they're a local camera store in New York City that is, well, they're rather large. They ship internationally, not just in the United States or New York City. But that's it for now. Have yourself a great day. We'll see you again soon. And tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock Eastern time, I actually have another video coming out that was due to come out this morning, but was preempted by this Firmware 2.0 that we thought might be the big one that wasn't the big one. So that tells you everything you need to know about firmware updates for the Canon EOS R5 coming out. You can expect to see more enhancements, minor ones to support new gear such as lenses, as we're seeing here with the power zoom adapters, as well as minor bug fixes or anything that might cause the camera to generate an error code 70. But that's it for now. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you again soon.